everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to share with you my most recent reads. I always put down in the description box below my timestamps for each of these books because I'm going to chat a little bit first, so if you'd rather just skip right to the book reviews, look at the timestamp down in the description, and you might want to also just skip certain books, so they're always there on my recent reads. And I'm just feeling chatty because you know what? I only get to talk to like 4 people during the day really, so I'm feeling the need to chat. I just wanted to check and see how everybody's doing because at least for me, I've been quarantining, our family has been quarantining for 2 weeks. So this is, day 14 or whatever of quarantine. How's everybody doing? We personally are doing really good, actually. We're the lucky ones because my husband already was working from home before all this started. So his job has not changed at all. He's still working from home. His job hasn't been affected by the economy and stuff like that because he works in technology. And so especially with people working from home, technology is always necessary. So we're doing good financially and all that stuff. We're trying to figure out anything we can do to help out people in our area that doesn't involve going out. I would encourage you to look into ways that you can help people in your community that doesn't involve getting face-to-face contact. For us, our church is collecting food for the homeless shelters in our area because they want to keep the homeless off of the streets, obviously, to keep them social distanced. And so they are doing tent cities outside of the homeless shelters because they're all full. And so they're having to provide more food. So that's one thing we're trying to do. So just try to find what you can do that doesn't require seeing anybody. We're just going to add to our grocery order that we pick up and then just drop it off without, they have a drop-off area. So just try to find if you have something like that in your area. But yeah, we're doing good. We're mostly just working outside, getting things ready for our garden and stuff like that. So let me know how you're doing, how you're faring. For me, I'm just trying to FaceTime somebody every day because I am an extrovert. So I try to FaceTime one family member or one friend every day so that we can see each other's face and talk so I don't go kind of stir crazy. But I'm just glad the weather's getting nicer. Things are going good. Also, I want to share with you, I've got another book shirt on today. This one is my Velasa Reader shirt. My daughter loves it because she loves dinosaurs, and I love it because it has books. So yeah, it's a great shirt for everyone in this family. If you are interested, I had worn another reading shirt in a video recently. If you're interested in any of those shirts, I got them from a website called Out of Print. All right, so now on to the books. I'm done babbling. So this recent reads, I put it off. I don't know if you've noticed, probably not. I usually try to post my videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and today is Saturday when I'm doing this video, because I was trying to put it off hoping I would finish a good book, because all of the books in this video are all 2 or 3 star books. And I was just really not wanting to do a recent reads that didn't have anything over average. But I just am not reading very fast right now. Right now I'm reading Harry Potter, and I was like, well, at least I can finish Harry Potter because I know this will be a 4 or 5 star book. I've been reading this for 5 days, and I'm this far in. So yeah, it wasn't happening for me to get another book done. So I figured, let's just do this. So unfortunately, I didn't love any of these books. Some of them were fine, they were 3 star books, fine, but not great books. So sadly, the first one is my only 2 star. The rest of these are all 3 star. My only 2 star is the Twits by Roald Dahl, and this was disappointing because I've been really loving reading the Roald Dahl books in the last year. I've been listening to them on audiobook. I listened to this one on audiobook, and the narrator was fine. It wasn't his fault. It was just that this book was just not interesting. It's a short story, only I think this book is only 70 some pages, and I think the audiobook was an hour, and it's just about these really horrible people that are married called the Twits who pull pranks on each other, and they treat each other really badly, and then they have some pet monkeys that they treat really horribly too, and then the monkeys want to get revenge on them. And so that's the whole concept of the story. I just didn't find it interesting. Most of the time, I've been really loving the Roald Dahl books I've read. I think almost all of them that I've read in the last year have been 4 or 5 star books, and this one just didn't enjoy. I would pass, and I also wouldn't read this to children because the things they do to each other are really cruel. So it's just not a good, like, I don't see anything in this that would be a good thing for kids. Like almost all the other ones, like I know in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka does bad things to the kids, but like there's also like a moral point, like each of those kids was doing something they shouldn't have been doing, so it's kind of like a teaching moment as well, even though it's kind of like a crazy way to teach that. This didn't have any teaching moments in it, I don't think. Like I just thought this is not good for kids, but I thought it might be still entertaining for adults, but no, I did not find it interesting at all. So I wouldn't recommend it, 2 stars. So the rest of these are 3-star books. So they were fine. They just weren't ones I loved. Next one is Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan. This is a middle grade novel, and I really expected to love this because on Goodreads, like everybody seems to love it. It gets like, I think a 4.06 or something like that on Goodreads. So it's really highly rated, and a lot of people talk about how great it is. And I've heard like people I trust like review it and say that it was great, but I just thought it was boring. And some of that is me because I don't love middle grade contemporary. I'm more of a middle grade fantasy person. And the reason I think is that because when I read a contemporary, I'm usually reading it because I want the like romance. Like I like contemporary romances, or I like when there's a lot of, not drama, but you know, like a lot of issues, like issue driven contemporaries. And so middle grade, even though there are issues in this, I just don't find it as interesting. So I just prefer adult contemporaries, and I just don't, this one just didn't capture my attention. It's about a young girl, Willow, who's just kind of different. Of course, all middle grade contemporaries, the person is different. And so she doesn't really fit in at school. And then at the very beginning, tragedy happens and her parents are killed. And so this whole book is her kind of trying to find a place. Like, you know, she doesn't have any family members. So it's like literally trying to find a place where social services are putting her and all that stuff, and kind of it's a found family situation, which that is why I thought I would love it, because, you know, I love adoption and foster care and all that stuff, and I love those stories. But this one, I just didn't think it was that interesting. Like she didn't, like Willow's character didn't pull me in. Most of the characters in this didn't. I just was like, la-di-da, like listening, like I listened to it and I loved the narrator because it's narrated by one of my favorite narrators, whose name I can't remember at the moment because I'm blanking, but she's one of my favorite narrators. And so I listened to it and was enjoying the like experience of hearing her voice, but the story was just boring me. So I wouldn't recommend it, but like I said, I'm just not probably the audience for this. I think that middle grade students probably would like this. And I know a lot of people who read middle grade contemporaries that are issue driven like this. So if you are one of those people, then you probably would like this. But if you're like me and prefer like more like fantasy in middle grade, probably wouldn't go there. And then another middle grade that I just thought was average was The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. This is also a very well loved book on Goodreads and on BookTube amongst people that read middle grade. But I just found it like too long. Like I thought the concept was interesting and I liked a lot of the characters, but this book is like very long and it just didn't need to be that long, so it lost my interest. It's almost 500 pages and it doesn't even have like the big writing, because you know, like a lot of middle grade novels have like big writing and this is just like normal writing. So this is like a legit 500 page book and just didn't need to be. If it had been a 300 page book, I probably would have rated it higher and found it more interesting. But there's times it just kind of like nothing was happening and it was just like babbling and I just wanted to get to something happening. And this is basically just about a group of young people who are really talented, like genius kind of kids, or just like clever or whatever. They have something about them that's special and they get recruited into this Mysterious Benedict Society and they have to solve an issue. And so it's kind of like a mystery, kind of like problem solving kind of book. And it just sounded really interesting. I actually put this on my 5-star review or 5-star prediction video. And so I'm sad that I only gave it 3 stars, but yeah, it's just too long. Not going to continue the series. It just wasn't for me. Yeah, I wish it had been more concise and then I would have really liked it. Okay, and now moving on to a YA book that I read recently. And this is a book that was part of my scratch off. So this was a book I didn't really know much about it other than that it was going to be a survival story in the wilderness. And that's why I picked it up. and it was also gonna be like a YA romance mixed with survival, so that's why I picked it up. But I didn't know anything else about it. I hadn't heard anybody review it, so I had it in my scratch off box, which is all books that I'm not sure if I'm gonna like them or not. And so this is the one I picked for March. And this one I had a love and hate relationship with. This is a 3-star. This one I gave it a 3-star because I just did not know how to rate it, because at different points in this book, I was like really like swinging back and forth on how I felt. So the basic concept of this story is that there is a girl, McKenna, who just graduated from high school, and she's deferred college for 1 year because she wants to hike the Appalachian Trail. So she starts in the middle of summer and is going to be hiking all like the rest of the summer and fall, and then, you know, start school the next fall. And the day she's supposed to be hiking with her best friend, and the day before they're supposed to leave on the trip, her best friend bails, and she knows her parents won't let her go if she's going by herself, so she lies and tells her parents that her friend is still going and goes off on the trail on her own. And there's like a romance in here, and there's some survival stuff in here, so yeah. So that's what this is about. And yeah, like I said, the roller coaster at the beginning, I almost DNF'd this book because the very beginning part with her like deciding to go on the trail alone, I just want to like strangle her, because I'm somebody that has done a lot of hiking, and you just don't do that. You just don't lie to your, like if you're underage, you're 17, she's 17, and she lies to her parents that she's going by herself. She also tells her parents that she's not going to check in every day because she really wants the Appalachian Trail experience, so she doesn't want to be checking her phone every day. So they go like multiple days without knowing where she is, and I'm just like, no, that's just stupid behavior. If you're alone and you're a young person on the trail by yourself, you should be in contact so they know if something were to happen to you, where on the trail about you are, so rangers could help find you. But no, she just makes stupid decisions all the time at the beginning of this book. And so I was just like really angry and almost DNF'd it, but I was like, okay, let's get into it. Like maybe she'll have a good character growth. And then we got to where she was on the trail, and I really enjoyed that part. And so then I was moving on to like, oh, I like in this book, you know, it's heading towards a 4-star. I'm really like enjoying seeing her grow as a person, because, you know, when you're in that by yourself on the trail, you really have to like, you know, do everything yourself. And so she was really growing and coming into herself, and it was amazing to like hear all of her stories of what was happening on the trail. And then we get to like the romance, and I just really didn't like that part either. Like, I don't know, it just was too insta-lovey for me. And then like it just went downhill from there in the middle area. Like, so then I was like getting angry, and I was past the point of where I felt like I could like DNF the book, because I was like, okay, I need to at least like see what happens. But I was getting really angry at her again for making stupid decisions, and this time making them for a boy instead of for her independence or whatever. And then the ending came, and I thought the ending was so good. I really liked the ending. So then I was like, oh, well, the ending would almost bump it back up again. So that's why I settled on a 3, because I was like rotating between all the different like stars. So I'm settling on a 3 because I did really think that the ending was smart and well done, and not something that I expected. So I don't know if I'd recommend this, because I was angry at the protagonist for so long. But if you're somebody that can handle that, like that you're okay seeing the whole growth and all that stuff, then I do think that the ending makes it worth it. And there were some good trail moments, but in general, like the general population of readers probably would not mesh well with this, because there is a lot of frustrating parts. And now onto the last book I want to talk about, and that's Inkheart by Cornelia Funke. I should have looked this up, because I swear every single person I see talk about these books cannot pronounce her name. She's German, and I guess none of us can look it up. But anyways, this was a reread for me. I had read Inkheart years ago, like over 10 years ago, and I didn't remember much about it, so I wanted to reread it to see if it's something I wanted to keep for my kids. And I was really looking forward to it, because I know it's about books and about like people that can read characters out of books and all that. And it really is a love story to books. Like, there's so much where quotable moments in this where they're talking about why they love books and all that stuff, the characters are. And so I love that part of it, but I was bored for a long time. It took me forever to read this book. it's big, but it's middle grade, and it is middle grade with the bigger writing. So like I expected to read it faster, but I just kept putting it down because I wasn't finding it that interesting. I gave it 3 stars and I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great, as good as I remembered. I was just kind of like la-di-da, like floating through this book, wasn't really super pulled in. I think this is another one where if this book had been 100 pages shorter, I would have found it a lot interesting, because there was a lot of times when nothing was happening or we were backtracking almost in the plot. And if we had just gotten to like, the ending is really good, and I like a lot of the stuff that happens in the last third of the book. So if we had gotten that stuff earlier, I think that it would have captured my attention more. So yeah, I'm still debating whether I should continue, because I own all 3 of them, and I'm trying to decide if I should continue the series, see if it's something that maybe my kids might like someday, or if I should just be done. If you've read the whole series more recently and can let me know if you think it's even worth reading books 2 and 3, or if I should just get rid of them all. Because at this point, just from reading this one, I'm thinking I'm going to unhaul this and not like keep it for my kids, because there's so many more interesting middle grade books being written now that I think I would want to share with them over this one, because this is not what I would be like. If you were told me like I had to read this out loud to my kid, I'd be like, no, I'm not interested in doing that. So it's probably a sign that I need to get rid of this one. So let me know if you think I should continue the series. So that's it. I feel like really bad because none of these were excellent books. They were all 2-3 stars. Some were fine, just not that exciting. So yeah, a little disappointing. But now that I don't know if you saw my video where I said I was throwing out my TBR. Now that I'm reading like Harry Potter and like books that I know I'm gonna love, my next recent reads will have definitely more positive things to say, because yeah, a lot of rereads coming up and stuff I know I'm going to enjoy a whole lot better than the books that I was reading before quarantine happened. So that's it for me. Let me know how you're doing, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.